moving to Spokane and finding that the majority of Spokanites are in fact Christian, and many evangelical Christian, which is fine, but it also makes me very much different from most folks I encounter here. Hi, I'm Neil Schindler, Executive Director of Spokane Area Jewish Family Services. Let's talk. Outside the Jewish community in Spokane, there is not a lot of understanding of what it means to be culturally Jewish. In other words, it's possible to identify strongly as a Jewish person but not be religious. And in many other faith communities, it doesn't necessarily make sense. In other words, you don't hear a lot about people who identify as culturally evangelical but not religiously evangelical. That doesn't really exist to my knowledge, and if it does, you don't hear about it much. Jewish culture includes values, ideas, art, music, history, a lot of things that aren't religion per se. Religion and culture in Judaism certainly overlap and dovetail, but I identify not as a religious Jew, but as a cultural Jew or a secular Jew, and that's a thing. Hanukkah is a celebration of the cleansing and rededication of the temple in Jerusalem more than 160 years BCE. Hanukkah is actually, in terms of the Jewish calendar of holidays, a minor festival. It is not nearly as big a deal per se as, say, Passover. Certainly not nearly as significant as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the high holidays. So it has become kind of a Jewish analog to Christmas in the sense that it is in December more often than not, occasionally late November, and that there is gift giving. My grandmother was a Holocaust survivor. I do know that my grandmother was in a labor camp and ended up escaping and coming to America. My grandfather also escaped Germany. They were both born in Germany and came to America, as many did, came to New York. They were part of a community of Holocaust survivors in New York and met and married, but they lost many family members in the Holocaust. So according to the Anti-Defamation League, which you probably know tracks anti-Semitic incidents and has for decades, 2021 had the most anti-Semitic incidents reported on record. Obviously, the most dramatic examples, 2017 Charlottesville, and 2018 the Tree of Life shooting in Pittsburgh. Locally, the day before my birthday last year, February 8th, 2021, I drove to work, went to the temple, and saw that on the glass doors there had been scrawled a couple of swastikas and some white power symbols. Eventually, the perpetrator was caught and tried and sentenced. And he was affiliated with a local white supremacist organization. And he said that he had been doing this as a way of recruiting others to his cause. That was a very jarring thing for me to come to work and see that. Unfortunately, I can't say I was wholly surprised, because what brought me into working with the Jewish community really was in 2014, on Yom Kippur, a swastika was scrawled in the temple. I can't say that seeing the swastika on the temple made me terrified. I think it made me worried. I think it would have terrified me if I had been more surprised. It's my belief that if the tide of rising bigotry, not just toward people who are Jewish, but various groups that have been historically marginalized and oppressed, that if that tide is to be turned back, if there's to be strong resistance, that it should be through solidarity between such groups.